Good morning, everyone. Oh, not morning where you're at? That's okay, because you could have eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to episode 79 of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am Brad Stanton, along with fellow eggs Matt M. and Brian Haremza. I want to thank you for all the positive feedback from last week. We had a lot of Brad's observations, his likes, his dislikes. You know why? Because that's what the show is. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you, this isn't your first time listening to the show, but if it is, we do something called Sunny Side Up, which is our good news of the week. So, Matt, what are we doing, buddy?
We're gonna say go New York, go New York, go. Because as you're listening to this, it's been over a week, but the Knicks, they did it. 5 games victory over the Spurs, NBA champions for the first time in 53 years. And let's face it, 53 years ago, NBA was not what it is now. So it's kind of like a different era. So really, this is the first time in our lifetime, and I think in a legitimate modern era where they're winning. Comeback Kings down 29 points in game four, I think. And oh, man, just fourth quarter magic. Jalen Brunson, the Garden. Oh, it's just so, it was very exciting. Very exciting. I mean, I was a very well documented Knicks fan as a kid. Really didn't pay too much attention for most of my adulthood. Um, I don't really know why. I know the league has changed a lot, but always been a Knicks fan. Never really was a Nets fan, even though that was kind of like even more local to me. But now they used to be New Jersey Nets. Now they're not even in the state anymore. I'm really happy for the city. As we record this, tomorrow is the parade. I hope everybody behaves themselves. I will not be
I
attending.
don't think so.
I will I will not be attending. I'll put it on the TV. I hope that nobody gets hurt or anything. I hope everybody has a good time.
They destroyed the city after a win. What are they going to do during a parade?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Say.
mean, these things happen whenever the way I like to put it, and I'm not trying to like defend bad behavior, certainly not. But anytime you put that many people together under stressful circumstances in any facet of life, in any corner of the world, destruction is going to happen, you know?
I enjoyed it. As a Philadelphia Sixers fan, I still enjoyed it. I thought it was really great for basketball. I thought it was really great for the network. I thought it was great for the country. Um, just rally around this team. I know either you rally around this team or you want everything in your power to root against this team. It felt like, and you had the celebrities that there that made it even more fun, and the traveling that they did with the team. Just a lot of fun. Jalen Brunson, big fan of his. Villanova's own. And got real emotional for him, with him and his dad. He couldn't even finish an interview, and he was their MVP. And yeah, congratulations to the New York Knicks. It was very
Yeah.
fun to watch this year. Down, I think, almost every game.
They were
Yeah,
down
I
in every
mean,
game, yeah.
it was I mean, basketball certainly has their share of blowouts, and the Knicks definitely blew some teams out during the playoffs, but the finals games were all pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Hmm. Do you give Danhausen a ring? I feel like you give him one, right? At least I'm in the parade. I mean, come on.
he's
I
pretty
feel like
funny. I'll tell you that.
yeah, it's I think that they mentioned Danhausen. The Knicks were on the Tonight Show on Monday. I swear they mentioned Danhausen. They
They did
did.
in a yeah, I
Yeah,
say yeah, they did, yeah.
good for
Well, they
them.
have a T-shirt, an NBA T-shirt by
Yeah,
Fanatics, which I know is a joint fan. The
yeah.
WWE has that too. But also I saw an interview with him and Ben Stiller, and
Hmm.
he thanked Ben Stiller for Severance, which really
Yeah.
good stuff.
So one more quick thing. I was driving down the highway today, and in front of me, I saw something that made me think of Brad and made me think of Sunny Side Up and made me think of the sun. Somebody had their window down, and sticking out of the window was a giant sunflower. And I thought of Brad's sunflower, and he did share a picture with us. I don't know if he posted it online, but it's looking pretty good.
Now I
Who
have
did-
5 of them.
who doesn't like a good sunflower sticking out of a
I
window?
mean, come on.
Yeah.
There you have it.
All right, very good, man. That is actually sunny side up.
Yeah, both.
What is going on? I got so everybody knows my daughter's due having a boy on July 17th. Uh so some sunny side up for her. Coming into this, she's only 21, going to be 22 very soon. She's become like I swear like just overnight she's become incredibly responsible. And I know that this is something that can definitely wake you up in the world, but she has become real responsible, and now they just got a new apartment. It's a 3-bedroom apartment. They're moving in now, and things are just moving in the right direction. And, as much as I was scared to death in the beginning of this, and I'm still nervous, it looks like, they're doing things the right way. So my sunny side up is, I'm cautiously optimistic now about being grandfather.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And we'll take cautiously optimistic over anything else. So,
Yeah, cautiously optimistic. So, Bryant,
it is that time of the year again, guys.
Girl
I
Scout
did.
cookies?
Oh God, no, no. I'm still working on the ones I got. I did it for multiple weeks last year. Brad got really annoyed with it, but we're back again. It is Nebraska Land Days, boys. Nebraska Land Days, the 2-week celebration here in North Platte. It's a big event. It's the continuation of the Buffalo Bill Wild West shows that happened where he toured the country, toured the world with these shows. It is a continuation of that. This week is the start of that. The rodeos are this week. Next week we have our big concert events going on. There's prime rib feeds, there's pork feeds, there's art shows, there's quilt shows. This is a quilting competition as well, because again, we're in the middle of nowhere. This is what you do. So much going on, so much fun. The company I work for, we're a big part of this event as well. Coming up, we've got our parade where hopefully it doesn't get rained out. I'm sure it will, because that's the luck. But lots going on. Nebraska Land Days is here. It's a fun time for all.
Now, aren't you extra busy this time of year?
Yes, very. Yes, I was at the arena today at about 8 a.m. and I left about 6 today. So,
Sounds like a 10-hour day.
yeah. And I was there 10 hours yesterday, and I'll be there 10 hours tomorrow and probably on Friday as well.
These folks like their Pepsi.
They do. And it's crazy to think that. But also the other big hit, and who'd have thought it? Water. I don't know.
Ah,
We sell a ton of, and again, the amount of mixed drink ideas that people come up with our products always impresses me. I'll be honest.
does sound delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I can go
It
for
is.
a cocktail right now.
I can go
Yeah.
for water.
Or she would, yes.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
Which brings us to hard boiled, and we're going to start with Matt. Matt, let's go back in time. Let's call it maybe December of 2020, January of 2021. Do you remember our first communication together and what way that we communicated? Maybe not what we said, but how we communicated.
I have no idea.
Discord. The
Okay.
Discord app. Now, I had no idea what Discord was before we joined ad-free shows. I had no idea, which it is. It's a communication. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just another way of communicating with a group of people that you're like in some kind of group. Like
There's chat rooms or one-on-one messages.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say for you, that's really highly advanced for you to be communicating that way. And I'm also very surprised that you even knew what a podcast was. And now that I know you, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you never listened to satellite radio? Someone that loves music as much as you do, and a very specific kind of music, and very specific kinds of maybe talk shows or anything like that. Everything you want, you can find on satellite radio. I can't believe, satellite radio is not even new at all. It's basically free subscription anytime you get a car. And then I would say there's a 65 to 70% retention when the free trial's up. How in the world did you do Discord, podcasts, and all this stuff and never ever try satellite radio?
It's Discord and podcasts. There's no overlapping in the Venn diagrams there. It's not.
I'm just saying you're behind the times and everything.
It's not a technology issue. It's an interest issue. First of all, yes, you can certainly get it for free from in many different ways. Like back when we used to get the free hours on the AOL CDs. But I just never really had any interest. And when it launched, which was in our lifetimes, it was pitched as like this more vast landscape for music. But from what I gather, they still play the same shit over and over again. That's what everybody tells me.
I'm telling you, there's 10 different rock stations, 20 different rock stations.
See, but I like being in command of whatever I'm doing. So I put on the music I want to listen to, not what somebody else has chosen for me. What's
You're
so hard
missing the
about
boat. I'm just letting you know you're missing the boat, and I'm
it? I
disappointed.
don't think so. I don't think most
Well,
people
you
give
wouldn't
a
know.
shit.
There's a lot of things with you. You don't try them, but you think they're a bad idea.
I
And that's
didn't
something
say I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying I have no use for it.
you don't know that.
Oh,
You should
no,
try it.
I do know that.
Yeah, you don't because you've
I do
never
know
tried
that.
it.
I do know that.
Just want to let you know that you don't try things.
Are there ads? I bet you the answer is there didn't used to be, but now there are.
Well, that's anything in the world. So what's the
Okay.
difference?
Well, that was part of the
What about the
original.
ESPN app, Matt? We paid for that.
That yeah, and that's ridiculous that that has ads.
Still
And
watching it.
I don't pay for it.
Well, you would if you didn't have it for free.
I don't know if I would.
You would.
I don't think I
You
would.
would watch WrestleMania.
I would, but I don't know if I'd pay 30 whatever a month for it. That seems preposterous.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. Hard boiled right back at you.
I don't know if you guys still get checks. Do you guys have checks, checking account?
No checking account, yeah.
Yes, I have a checking account.
I don't use a lot of checks,
No, we don't.
but I
use-
still, every once in a while, you still need them. And
Sure.
I recently had to order them. Do you remember the last time you got checks and how many were in the pack that you got?
A lot.
Like, I would say four of them, right?
Yeah, you get
Or-
4 books and there's like 50 to
Yeah.
100 in each book. Yeah.
Yeah. I just reordered and I paid probably $5 or $6 more than I did the last time. And I got two, and they each have 30 checks in it. And this
Yeah.
is from the same place.
Yeah, you paid more and got less.
A lot less. A lot less. And I do need them here and there. And this will probably last me about 3 years, maybe. But I mean, what is happening? I paid more money for less product. And I probably ordered these 3 years ago. The same, maybe a
bet
little
you-
longer.
I feel like banks should not even be charging you for those.
I agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
When did that start? I remember they were like, when I was a kid, they were in like the back of like a newspaper. You could order them that way too. But I never did that. I always just wanted to make it
That
nice.
I
And
don't remember. Were you ink pressing your own papers as well?
and finally, as Matt would say, and finally,
As Matt would say.
I was having a problem with my dentist. Remember I told you about the whole $25 fiasco from a few weeks ago that they wanted me to go to the ATM
Yeah.
and get the cash. Well, I
Right.
had to go back there again because my tooth was also giving me a problem again where I think the filling fell out. So I went back again. 3 weeks later, same problem. So I said, I am done. I am done with you guys. And I went to a new place that I actually went to years ago. The only reason I stopped going there was I thought they wouldn't take my insurance anymore. I got an email where I was mistaken. So I go in. I had to get a root canal. A root
Wow.
canal. So let me ask you a question. You're telling me that you didn't know that? That I needed a root canal and a crown? You didn't know that. So for freaking 4 months, I'm busting this thing open because it's a problem. You dipshits. There's a diploma on the wall. A diploma on the wall. And that's not like there's no need to cut corners. All this makes you money. They said they paid 80%. My insurance paid 80%. It still cost me like $200. All right. Where in the world? Why wouldn't you suggest this? You're too worried about your freaking credit card machine not working or something like that. I just couldn't believe it. And like now, finally, it hurts, but at least I know that I'm headed in the right direction. Freaking hard boiled for you being a bunch of jackasses. Mark, whatever your name is, you might be right. You might be right. A second opinion might be in order.
I have so much to say about this. First of all, did you get the root canal?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you not lead with that? You led with me not having satellite radio? That was bothering you more?
Yeah.
You know what? You got to work your way up to anger.
Yeah.
All right. Can you talk more about the scene when you fired the previous dentist's office?
I didn't really fire them. I'm done with them. I'm just not going to go back. And I'm never giving them the $25. They're going to have to turn me into collections.
Yeah. I don't even think you can do collections for medical.
If they do, I will pay it. I don't need that over $25.
No, I don't think that's going to collections.
But anyway, that's all I got.
You
this
know what
week.
I would say, you know what? I got your money. You got to go to the ATM to pick it up.
Unreal. What a bunch of losers. Anyway, Matt, we got a new topic alert. And we are going to have a shell of a time, Matt. What is that? What do you got for us?
A shell of a time.
Yeah.
Who makes these things up? It's funny stories. Now, we're going to come under fire here because the person telling the story is going to think it's funny. It's up to the rest of the world to determine if it's funny or not. But this story I like to call the onioning. Now, as you know, I live in the New York, New Jersey area, and for many years, I was a partial Giants season ticket holder. I'd go to a lot of games nearby. Loved the tailgate. Used to go with my father a lot. Been there with friends many times. There was one particular game. I want to say this was 2007 or 8. The Giants were an excellent team during the heart of that Eli era. And it was after they won the first Super Bowl. So it would have been a 2008 or 9-ish season. It was towards the end of the season. So it was December. It was very cold. And they were playing the Eagles, big rival. And it wasn't just me and my dad or me and a friend. It was a whole bunch of us. Like, got there real early, set up the tents, 3 or 4 cars, cooking, the whole thing, the whole tailgate. And, this is also approaching 20 years ago. And what do people do? Tailgate. Lots of drinks being consumed as well. People horse around having a good time. And as you get closer to game time, the late arriving traffic is now inching their way in because it's slow moving now. There's less spots and more people arriving at the same moment. My friend was cooking over the grill, and I don't know why he decided to do this, but a van, we were sort of in view of where the cars were entering, and a van was all painted green and decked out in Eagles gear and all the bells and whistles, Eagles fans. And for some reason, they rolled down the window and they were taunting all the Giants fans, which is a mistake. And my friend was cooking, picked up the nearest object to him, which was an onion, fired it at the van, and it somehow entered the passenger window and exploded on the interior windshield. And you could see it was like the bird that Randy Johnson hit and like the feathers went flying. It was like the onion, it just shattered into a million pieces and went flying all around the inside of their van on the inside of the windshield. Like, what are the chances that he threads this throw through the window? And the van came to a sudden abrupt halt. Two guys jumped out, saw that there was like 50 Giants fans there, ready to be like, what are you going to do about it? And then they just meekly got back in their car and continued inching their way till they found a parking space. But I was standing right there, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Just the chances of it going through the window and exploding like that. And we still laugh about it today. The onioning.
It's funny. I have a similar story where I was going to a Giants game and I was in a van and I was taunting the fans. And this freaking onion just shows up and hits the inside of my car. And
Man,
I get out and I'm like, fuck
wow.
this. I'm getting back in. You wonder if that guy really is telling the story on his show. No, it's good though.
It was really funny. We
The
still,
onion.
we still joke about it, you know.
That's awesome.
That's a
Gosh,
great. That's great.
I can't. I want to see all your faces when this onion explodes like this and it's just spreading itself. And I'm picturing like this thing like just hitting window after window and just
Just
spreading itself around. And this van still smells like onions to this day. They probably
Oh,
took it
you
to
know it
sell it.
does.
They tried to sell it, but it was like the Jerry Seinfeld situation where it smells like BO forever.
I think the reason why it was so funny is because in order for it to have made such an impact and explode like that, it had to have been really thrown very hard. And of course, the harder he's throwing it, the less accurate he's going to be able to be. So the chances of all that working out, where he just nailed it like that, was so slim.
Oh, very good.
Good moment.
You nailed it. First timer.
Perfect.
Shell of a time.
Shell of a time.
Shell of a time. Which brings us to goose eggs, which are our injuries. So, Bryant, I feel like we haven't heard much from you this episode. What have
I
you
know.
got?
I've just been quiet. Yeah. Mine is very I guess serious. I don't know. We'll pretend it's serious anyway. So it's 2008. I'm in college at the time, and I decide to go visit my brother. He lives down in Kansas. He lives down there, and he's got his fiance, my parents go down. We're all down there, and we go to a Dillon's department store. And I go in, they go in because she's sick, so they're getting some medicine. I go in to follow them because I just don't want to be in the car with my parents. I go in, I see them at the pharmacy. I walk up, I talk to them, and I'm walking back out. And as I'm walking back out, I stop and I stare at a magazine cover because the magazine cover catches my eye. I turn around to look at my brother, and then I wake up in an ambulance. Now, why is this the goose egg? Because there's this awesome giant letter H that currently sits on the top of my head. If I, shaved my head, you would see it. And because of this incident, I now have this awesome scar on the top of my head, to which I like to now say is my initial, for my last name. And yeah, it's just an interesting goose egg that never really got resolved either. But yeah, and now I'm forever known at that Dillon's department store.
So you don't know what happened?
Nope. Went to 4 different doctors and no one had any explanation for it. The best I got was a doctor telling me that think of a video game, and when you hit the reset button and then the game starts back up, basically that's what my brain did. Was it just somebody hit the reset button and I just
Hasn't this happened to you
Yes.
more than once?
I feel like I've heard part of this story.
Yeah, no, this is one of many. Yeah.
This is like a book, like a novel.
Probably,
it
yeah.
keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Or
Because
like
this would have been, this would have been the second. Yeah.
Is this like Memento, where it's like
maybe. So, but yeah, I have this great letter. Like I said, it's not. It just looks like the letter H on the top of my head.
What is the name of the store?
Dillon's?
Dillon's? I've never heard
Yeah,
of it.
it's a Midwest thing.
I think I've heard of Dillard's.
Yeah.
Dillard's
sure that's not what it is?
No, Dillard's is another department store. Dillon's is a grocery store. It's kind of a little more grocery than anything else. Dillard's. Yeah,
is it Dillon's with a Y or Dillon's with an ILL?
Dillion.
That's how I wrote it when I wrote it. Well, they had to change after Bryant sued them. They had to change their name to
Probably. I would recommend that. Probably.
Does this bother you?
Does it bother me?
Yes. You don't know what the hell happened a couple times?
Yeah. No, absolutely. You live in constant fear if you never know if you're just gonna. It's literally just snap a finger. You could be out. You don't know, and no one can give me an answer.
Yeah, you're right. It's not funny. Well,
I know, right? But
I mean,
still,
all 2 doctors in Nebraska were stumped.
Oh no, I went out of state for my examination.
You did get a second opinion, though.
Oh, I got 4 opinions.
Well, there you go, Matt.
Yeah. So
you're really stuck on that.
No, I'm not. I agreed with you this time.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm getting old, and with the addition of my besides my tooth, which hurts pretty bad, root canal hurts, by the way, but that's a new development. I have 3 things wrong with me right now. I have sciatic pain, I have tendinitis, and I have a groin pull. Now, all these injuries there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do at all except rest, which I'm not going to do. But a sciatic is every time I get out of the car, every time I get out of a chair, it shoots up your leg into your, it's just absolutely torturous. So I got that going on. Now the tendinitis is funny because I can lift heavy objects and it doesn't bother it. But something small, like turning a doorknob. Or yesterday, my wife Stanley fell out of the cabinet and did a flip, and I caught it with my left hand and it shot up my arm like no other. And in a groin pull, you never know. You never know when that's going to bother you. So my advice to all of you out there, when you have sciatic pain, when you have tendinitis, when you have your groin pull, just take it easy. Getting old is hard.
Where did the groin pain pull come from?
I don't know where any of it comes from. I can't pinpoint none of these things. Like, I don't just say, I just hurt my sciatic.
Yeah.
Or
you rolled over wrong and all of a sudden you just can't feel your left leg. I don't know.
Yeah, and the tendonitis, same thing. You don't know where these injuries happened.
Wow. So
but they linger. They linger.
Guys, we're about to complete a trifecta here of unexplained problems that we've had because Bryant's blackouts unexplained. Brad's trio of injuries unexplained. 2 years ago, I was at work, and after lunch, I suddenly felt very tired. I didn't really feel good, and I said I should probably go home. I went home, I went to bed. I woke up and I had a really bad headache. Now, I don't know if I've ever had a migraine. Like I've certainly had headaches. I think I know what migraine symptoms are and the way other people seem to handle them, and I just don't think I've ever experienced that. But what I felt was pain in a specific part of my head and exhaustion, and it persisted. And it was really strange, and it became concerning after a day or two. The best way I can actually describe it was it felt like I had a major hangover. Now, I'm assuming everybody here and everybody listening or watching has been hungover and knows what that feels like. You're tired, your head hurts,
Once or twice.
Yeah.
you and you know you don't feel up for it, right? And that's what it felt like. But in this scenario, that was not the case. There was no alcohol involved, and this went on for 15 days. So imagine you had a hangover from morning till night for 15 days in a row. So of course, after a few days, I went to the doctor, and she said, I went through, you give them some feedback and some history and stuff. And she's like, it sounds like you're not sleeping, which was true. I was working too much. I was staying up too late to get more things done, trying to spend time with the family, cutting corners everywhere. I've criticized, Bryant for this because I think burns the candle at both ends too much, because I know what happens if you don't sleep. I wasn't really sleeping, and she also told me that I need to take more magnesium glycinate, which I now take every day. So she also, of course, ordered a MRI of my brain,
Hmm.
which is no fun. It's painless, but they put your head in this cage and you get, sent through the little tunnel thing, and it's, doesn't feel great. The experience of being trapped. And that was probably like 45 minutes long. Let me tell you though, when you live in a state like I live in, and the world is moves a little quicker than maybe the Midwest, I wasn't even finished driving home yet, and I already had my results from the MRI. Honest to God. And they were positive. It said that my brain was unremarkable, which is
Ah.
which is hilarious, and that's what you want to hear. So there was nothing wrong internally. And coincidentally, that day was day 15, and that was the day that my head stopped hurting. So I think a combination over that 2 weeks of sleeping more and um, taking the extra vitamins was helping. It was not a lack of, everybody wants to say not enough water. All you friggin' do is drink water. So it wasn't that. Now, here's what you guys don't know. This was going on when we were launching the podcast. And when we recorded the very first episode of this podcast in November of 2024, I was in the middle of the 15-day hangover for the first episode that we recorded. And it went away a few days later, and it's been gone since.
So what you're saying is the eggs made your headache go away.
I guess so.
Exactly.
I
There it
guess
is.
so. So there's your goose eggs,
I don't
people.
remember you telling us that in a group chat or
I don't
anything.
think I did. I honestly, I think we were not as close.
Eh, I mean, peek behind the curtain. We were texting in this group chat for
Yeah.
months.
No,
Yeah.
that's true. There are times. I mean, I can be a very, very open person, but there's times when I keep stuff close if I'm don't have an explanation, or if I'm worried about something. I don't know if I want to go spreading it around. Um, I think I just dealt with it, and then I was just delighted to know that I didn't have a brain tumor, and I
Yeah,
just
I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear it too.
you
No,
know
absolutely. Yeah.
Just
yeah.
unexplained, really.
That's just crazy. Yeah.
I mean, she thinks that the doctor just what she told me made sense, because I was sleeping like maybe 4 hours a night. But not only was I awake the rest of the time, I was like busy. I was like making myself get shit done. So that was another thing I changed was, a lot of times the family will go to bed and I'm like, all right, now I got to get stuff done.
Yeah.
I got to pay some bills or make some vacation plans or whatever the hell it is, on my phone, on my computer. So I scaled that back big time. And I'm like, I'll wait till tomorrow.
It's like a peek into my life right now.
I
Oh,
know, dude. That's why I've told you. I
yeah.
mean, and I'm a lot older than you, so you probably still feel, like you're more invincible
A
at
little bit.
in your
I still like to
30s.
tell. I still brag to everybody. I do very well for the 3 hours of sleep I get a night usually. So,
Gonna
See,
catch up with you.
it's going to catch up to you.
oh, I know it
It's
comes
going to catch
fast.
up to you.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh
there's
yeah.
another factor here. I mean, of course, I've have a child living here, which demands attention. And not a complaint, of course, but it's it's not like I can just sometimes I don't get to decide when I'm waking up. You
Not to
know,
mention he's been the same age for 5 years.
Yeah.
he's perpetually eight.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think we did very well there. Which brings us to the omelet. Bryant, and I remember there's something about records that we don't want to hear about.
There's as we've talked about on the
I
show.
don't want to hear about it.
I want to hear about it. As we've discussed, it's even been brought up saying we're all sports fans. We all love sports, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, there's the occasional hockey in there too, because, some people do enjoy that, I guess. But, but there's always these records. There's always these marks. We talked a few weeks ago of, the Paul, Brad brought up the Paul Molitor story where he's chasing after this hit streak. And, Joe DiMaggio has this amazing, hit streak and all this stuff. And, can it be broken? Can these records ever be broken? But there's good records, but there's also these bad records. There's these records that you don't know if you want to have these records, really, but there are people that do. Now, some names you will recognize, some names you won't, because obviously that's why they have this. That's why they're here. So, naturally, I'm only going to stick to the major sports leagues. We will talk a little college sports for a couple records here, just because I wanted to include some college in here. But you look at Major League Baseball, the worst team that's ever been in Major League Baseball. There's the most losses is by the Cleveland Spiders with a great record of 20 and 134. Your modern era, of course, goes to the New York Mets. Of course, 40 and 120. How can you not be excited about the Mets, right? In basketball, the worst team in basketball, the Charlotte Bobcats. But you can't forget the great season of 72-73 by those Philadelphia 76ers as well. In football, we've had two winless football teams. The Detroit Lions in 2008, Cleveland Browns in 2017. Craziest part, though, is the Tampa Bay Bucks still hold the record most consecutive losses, 26 straight losses.
Wow.
They used to be really bad.
Yeah, and this is them coming into the league. They were horrible coming into the league.
Unlike Las Vegas in hockey,
Oh, dude, yeah, they are amazing in hockey. Speaking of hockey, the fewest points, worst winning percentage goes to the Capitals. 8 wins in 1974, which I feel is impossible to accomplish. I feel like you're guaranteed at least ties. The ties alone should be helping you out, but the 8 wins still amazing to me. That is the case here. So we're gonna talk some records here because, again, like I said, I've got some notes here on some different stuff here. Let's talk about the NFL. It is the king of sports in our country. We always, there's a countdown going on, and they still run an NFL show year round, just talking random things about these teams. This guy pulled up in this car to training camp, fantastic stuff. The big stat for quarterbacks you always look at, passing yards are great, but interceptions, that's what hurts your teams, right? The most interceptions in one season was done by George Blanda, who threw 42 interceptions. Now, mind you, back then, it was a 14-game season. 14 games. We play, I think, 25 now. I've lost count how many they've added to these seasons. No one has touched this. No one has come close to this.
They wouldn't allow it anymore.
I don't know how this is just insane to know that we've added more games and no one gets close to this number.
Who was the backup quarterback? That's the real question.
How did they not get in? Yeah, because at this point, you got to let him in the game. There's no way around that. But if you're talking career interceptions, the man who's thrown the most career interceptions, of course, it's Brett Favre. The gunslinger himself. He has so many records, MVP, Super Bowls. but he also holds 336 career interceptions, which I find amazing, knowing that he held the touchdown record, he held the passing, he set the passing yards record for a little bit, and still holds most interceptions, which
Huh.
I think is just fascinating to see, especially a guy like Brett Favre who has such great accolades. We also got to talk. We got to talk the Jets. Why not? Fantastic Joe Namath holds a record, the most incompletions in one game, 36. A game in 1967 against the Broncos basically ended up being a complete blowout, but his 36 incompletions is still the NFL AFL record. No other QB has ever thrown 35 incompletions in a game. So
Who doesn't have a hangover here and there?
I mean, you got to go for that, right? We got to talk rush. Another key stat in football is rushing. The most rushes with no yards. Benny Malone of the Miami Dolphins in a game in 1974 had 14 rushes for -3 yards.
Good defense.
Keep handing him the ball.
And they kept handing him the ball 14 times, -3 yards. Basically, he never crossed. Like, if he crossed the line of scrimmage, it was 1 or 2 yards, and then was immediately the next play. Just everything was a loss all the
My
way
guess
around.
is that offensive line didn't have too many Pro Bowlers.
I would think not. You would think have at least a little bit of blocking for him. You got to get the run game going when you can. So, as I did this, one of the leagues that has some of the most crazy stats is always Major League Baseball. Baseball has, it's been going since, the 1800s and just has all these different stats for, earned runs, hits, everything like that. One of the things that gets me is, a pitcher that I remember. His name's Jamie Moyer. Now, I remember him playing in Seattle. He used to play for the Seattle Mariners, but he's this veteran pitcher who has the slowest pitches I think I've ever seen in my entire life. But Jamie Moyer also holds the distinction of allowing the most home runs in a career. By the time he ended his career, he had given up 522 home runs. Now, baseball is famed for having the 500 home run club, which I think you should give Jamie an award because he's probably helped the majority of them get to that milestone in his career.
Played a long time.
Oh, dude, so many seasons, so many careers, so long as well. So, and again, you talk about baseball being around for so long. The most earned runs given up in one game, Howard Emke of the Boston Red Sox, 1923, 16 earned runs.
Earned. I love that you said earned.
Yes.
That's the most
Earned
important
runs.
thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, that wouldn't happen today unless it was like September and it was a meaningless game, maybe.
Depleted bullpen, but it was the 1800s, you said?
Is 1923.
There was no bullpen.
Yeah, there's no bullpen. You play that whole game. Yeah, the final score ended up being 24-4, and 16 of those runs came to him. One was unearned, so that one doesn't count. But if you look at it on the box score, it's 16 unearned, which I think is just, again, crazy to think that somebody, and again, why don't you pull them? Who knows? When I think of careers for baseball, this man has an award named after himself. The greatest pitcher to many people, Cy Young. Cy Young holds so many records. He has, career innings pitched, most games started, most complete games. But you do all this, you naturally also have the most losses in Major League history, 316 losses, which again is amazing, knowing that for a while he held, you have 815 starts, you lost 316. Like, that's, again, a mind-blowing stat to also see how many games people pitched back in that era.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he has the most wins and the most losses.
Most wins and most losses, yes. So, on that same note, you want to talk, one stat that I think is fun is wild pitches. It's when the pitch goes in, loses it from the catcher, or, you're throwing it away, or you're throwing it to first base. There's wild pitches. For wild pitches, there's a person who had 334 wild pitches in their career. His name's Tony Mullane. He is a Irish. He was dubbed the Count during his career because he had 334 wild pitches, which I still find fascinating. That after 10, you would just keep him in the pitching lineup and not move him to first base, second base, somewhere else in the field. Because at that point, he's just a liability to you.
I think Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn has the most wild pitches in an inning.
I would think so as well. I would, to me, yes, of course. So, I want to bring up some college football as well. We want to talk some college sports here, mix in a little bit here. I remember, a few, several episodes ago, if you want to go check our archives, I talked about a football game where the final score ended up being 222-0. It is still the most points ever scored. The game is a crazy stat line of everything you could ever want to go through. But there's also another stat in college football that I don't know if it can ever be touched. Prairie View A&M went through a losing streak, 44 straight losses. Now, mind you, they only play about 12 games this season. So this losing streak, after losing in 1989, did not win another game until 1998. Went almost 10 years without a win. I just don't, to me, that's fascinating in the sense of, there's always a game you can find a way to win. You can pull out a miracle in some aspects. But to know you don't win a game for almost 10 years, and how do you recruit at that point, too? You could be the one. We don't know, though, but 9 years of losing, 44 straight losses.
I hope they didn't miss the merchandise opportunity here of having the losses and just having 1, 2, 3, 4 and have a cross through it and just sell that shirt after they finally win. Brian Myers, I think Brian Myers did that in the WWE.
He did. Yeah, he did that during his losing streak. Yes. By the way, to just follow up on that, in 2007, they finally clinched their first winning season since 1976. So also tells you the program there as well. Like I said, you want to talk, college football. Let's talk about college basketball as well. You got some amazing stories in college basketball. There's always these programs like this. But one program, it's the New Jersey IT College. It's the Highlanders. 0-29 for their first season in Division I college basketball. No team had ever gone winless before until this school in 2007. They are still at this point the only school to do that, and also after this season actually went back down to D2.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, so actually fell back down, and again, you get the moment to go to D1. After this, you kind of feel like you need to go back down. I would feel like, but got to show some
move.
Yeah. Which I feel like they could do that too. Just be like, you know what, bring a D2 school up this year. D1 goes down. Just kind of flip flop them.
I like that.
Be something interesting to go for.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little NBA basketball now as we just finished the championship here. The New York Knicks finally winning their first championship. The playoffs are always something interesting. You want to have the best records. You want the high seeds. You want to have home court. Something I found interesting is the record for basketball. Now, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, there weren't a lot of teams in the league. So you had more opportunities to join. But the worst team to make the playoffs, the worst record to make the playoffs, at 16-54, the Washington Bullets made the playoffs. Now, most of the time now, if you make it's a losing record, you might be, 41-41 or 40-42. It's like a couple games under 500. To be this far under and still make the playoffs is something I still think is crazy.
How did this happen?
At the time, there was only 10 teams in the Eastern Conference, and it's an 8-team playoff.
That's ridiculous. There's 8 teams make it.
Yeah. The funniest part is if you look at it, in the Western Conference, a team with 27 wins, the Hawks, didn't even make the playoffs. But a 16-win team in the Bullets makes the playoffs.
How'd the playoff run go? Do we know?
The Bullets lost in the first round to the New York Knicks, actually. So, yes.
I like how there was a team called the Bullets.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They are now the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, which is way worse.
Way worse. Yeah. I'd have stuck with the Bullets. So. You want to be on a hot streak. You always want to score points. It's about scoring in the league. But the worst shooting night in NBA history, December 1991, Tim Hardaway. How can we not think of Tim Hardaway? He's one of the great players, great career coming in the NBA. During his first season in Golden State, where he was drafted originally, 0-17. Didn't make one bucket. 17, including 16 straight misses. At what point do you just stop him?
And that's one game?
One game, yes. 0 and 7
See,
over 17.
I blame this on hangovers.
Go to bed. You never know. You party too hard at that point. Yeah.
The games are at night.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's a rough night.
Of course. Now, again, we've talking history here. We got to talk the full history of these leagues. 1948, the St. Louis Bombers. Giff Rowe is his name. The most free throws taken with no makes in one game. Goes 0 for 20 from the free throw line.
Like me.
It's nobody. It's it's
So
unbelievable.
it's crazy to think that you could go to the line this many times, no makes. By the way, the next closest mark for no made free throws is 11.
So
And
that will never be broken.
so that's a record that I feel will never be broken. But and by the way, that person who went 0 for 11, that was Shaq, by the way. But yeah, Giff holds this record. I don't think it'll ever be broken. I don't know if you can really be that terrible enough to miss that many free throws, or at that point too, you're going to eventually make one if you foul enough. I would think so. But I have one more that I'd like to throw in here that doesn't have to really do with sports, but as I was doing this, it was included in sports. And I just found it fascinating because, when I think of sports figures, what do we normally think of? We normally think of their life outside because we always want to know what's going on outside of the world. This last category is called Most Baby Mamas. Now, there's a man by the name of Calvin Murphy, the shortest NBA player at 5'9", ever inducted into the Hall of Fame. He was inducted by his 14 children by 9 mothers. We think of Antonio Cromartie from the NFL.
That's who I was thinking of.
12 children by 9 mothers. You think of former Pro Bowl tailback Travis Henry. Has 11 children, 10 different mothers. And at this point, being famous, is it really worth it? Because at that point, how much child support are you paying?
Who's doing? I don't get it.
One to throw in a weird one to end it here. But as you can see, there's a lot of records. There's always something that's dubious, distinction, whatever you want to go for. But there's always a record. And do you want some of these? Some yes, some no, but you'll always be remembered in history.
So I remember you did the Guinness records before.
I did.
And when you said this before, I think I missed the part where you said it was going to be sports, and I didn't want to say anything. So
Yeah.
I thought we were doing like records again that maybe we didn't want to talk like that. So I wrote down a couple of those, which had nothing to do with sports.
Please, go for it.
All right. The record for the smallest adult living dog is held by Pearl, a Chihuahua from Orlando, Florida, who is 2 years old and stands at just 3.59 inches and tall and 5 inches long and weighs 1.22 pounds.
I kind of want that dog.
I definitely don't.
The record for the most teeth pulled in a single operation, because I'm in a teeth kind of place right now, belongs to a 7-year-old boy from India, from whose mouth the surgeons extracted an astonishing 526 teeth in 2019. This mass extraction was performed to remove a benign tumor known as the composite auditoma. That's why. And finally, the world record for the most husbands belongs to Linda Wolf, who holds the official Guinness Book of World Records for the most monogamous marriages by a female. She has been married 23 times to 21 different men.
Wait, so she remarried 2 people?
Yeah, and they said okay again.
Oh man.
So sorry, I was off topic.
I mean,
No,
how
love
far along, how deep into that are you thinking, oh, I'll be the guy that it sticks, All right, I have a couple of sports ones here.
Please.
Similar to Cy Young with most wins and losses, how about Nolan Ryan? Most strikeouts and most walks, 2,796 career walks as a pitcher. He only won the World Series once, his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
He was a reliever. I also wrote down Brett Favre. I always hated how he was spelled the name and how it was pronounced.
Yep, Favre.
And you said gunslinger. That's how he described him. I honestly never really thought that much of the guy. The guy was talented, of course, but he was also a game loser. And what I mean by that is he could single-handedly blow any game by throwing a pick at the end, and he would do that often. Now, I always like to talk about Eli Manning in the opposite way. Eli will probably find his way into the Hall of Fame for a variety of reasons, but he's not like this legendary top 10 quarterback. Somebody like Brett Favre is thought more highly of. But Eli was not a game loser. He was not the guy who just blew it. He could be very clutch, like a Derek Jeter, or, the Giants could get their ass kicked. But it was never like, well, Eli fucked up at the last second again, like Brett Favre or Tony Romo. Anyways, I never really thought that about Brett Favre. He only won one Super Bowl. There's too many quarterbacks out there who won zero or one Super Bowls that I'm like, you really needed to win more than that, buddy. You know?
Dan Marino
Marino,
never won
zero,
one.
right? Breeze, what is it, one?
You won one, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers won.
Aaron Rodgers, one. That's another guy. It's like, yeah, you've been in our face a lot, but what do you have to show for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure.
Friend of the show, Jimmy James C, also provider of our music. He brought to my attention that it would be interesting the people who hold the record for most hit by pitch in baseball. That record is held by Huey Jennings. You don't know who that is because he's an 1800s player, 287. Modern day, it is Craig Biggio, 285 hit by pitch. But, he did play for a long time and he had many thousands of plate appearances. So it was actually like less than two, it was like 2% of his at bats where he would get hit. But, that could also help the team. That means he
Yeah.
faced 285 times just by taking a hit. So there you have it.
Lean
Yeah.
into it, Craig. We need someone on base.
Yeah,
Exactly.
tough guy, I guess.
And by the way, I think the Phillies, and I don't have the exact number here, are the losingest professional franchise of all time.
They are.
Now,
Yes.
part of that is being around forever, and it is baseball,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's correct.
Yeah. Playing 162 games does help you kind of get
Yeah.
that number to go up there.
And
a
an
little bit.
original, and an original
And
team.
an original team, yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever there's records like that, I appreciate it more when you judge things based on percentage of since when they existed.
Yeah.
You can't compare it to the Marlins, who are only been around for 30 years.
Correct.
Right. Well, and that's why, like, even when I talked about records, I just used a season, not the career record of like these franchises.
Which brings us, very good, Bryant. That was fun. Which brings us to my topic this week, which is the spotlight. We spotlight someone, something. Well, Bryant, will you please put up the picture that I have provided for you? So who is this? This is Saint Gwenifort. Now, who is Saint Gwenifort? And I know Matt absolutely loves to talk about dogs.
We always
So
gotta talk
we're-
about it's dogs. It's always dogs.
Saint Gwenifort the Greyhound. So what happened to Saint Gwenifort? A lord and a lady left their infant son sleeping in his cradle, watched only by their greyhound, Gwenifort. A venomous snake slithered into the nursery and approached the child, but Gwenifort fought and killed the reptile, overturning the cradle and leaving the room covered in blood. Upon returning, the parents saw the bloody nursery, empty crib, and blood-covered Gwenifort. Assuming the dog had eaten their baby, the horrified lord struck and killed the dog. Moments later, they heard the baby crying from beneath the overturned cradle, completely safe and sound next to the mangled body of the snake. Filled with remorse, the family buried the dog in a well, covered it with stones and trees. Locals in the region of Lyon, France began visiting the site as a shrine, venerating the greyhound as a martyr and the unofficial saint. Filled with, unofficial patron saint of the sick. However, the church's stance, while this medieval tale became a famous piece of folklore, the Catholic Church never officially canonized Gwenifort because animals are not believed to have souls. The church forbade the veneration of the dog and actively worked to destroy the shrine. I give you Saint Gwenifort, the Greyhound. Thank you, everyone. Comments, concerns?
I love it.
I
love it.
concerns.
I heard this story yesterday. I had a completely different spotlight. And I heard this story and I said, I think it's time we bring back the legend of Saint
Yes.
Gwenifort.
I have an idea. Why don't you give us the other spotlight that you had planned, and then we'll swap them out in the edit.
No, I'd still keep this one.
What a story. How about you look around the room a little before you kill the dog, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just to jump to conclusions
Let's just
immediately.
make
Like, what is
sure
this?
this poor dog. And now they're destroying where he live, where he's buried. Well, that was fun, guys. Which brings us
Ah,
to overpriced eggs. Overpriced eggs is something that we've outgrown. So, Matt,
So, first and foremost, I have outgrown doing this category, and I motion to remove it from the outline going forward. Um,
yeah, I don't know.
I guess something I've outgrown is, and it comes with the age where more and more things are digital, is I've outgrown holding on to like old receipts and documents because I used to keep a big like filing box of like a lot of receipts and stuff, especially if I made like a big purchase or something that was expensive. I'd keep the receipt. And nowadays it's like I probably have a record of it in an email or a credit card statement or something. And again, also documents like I don't know, like when you're paying off your student loan or old medical forms and stuff. You don't need that stuff. I've never needed it. Birth certificate, passport, social security, sure. Okay? But, I'll hang on to the deed to my car. Yes. But I don't need the rest of this. We just don't need no one has ever asked for it. Why am I keeping it for?
We have to keep a credit. So if I run your credit, right, at a car dealership, and whether you didn't take the car, whether you were approved or not, I have to keep that for 7 years.
Yeah. Yes,
And
you do.
I think about that with like what you're saying and how like maybe you keep something for a short time, but
right.
yeah, you don't need that stuff out. Yeah, definitely don't need it after a certain amount of time. And I definitely don't need to worry about somebody's credit run from 6 years ago.
I mean, maybe if somebody's got a bankruptcy lawsuit or something, I don't know.
I don't know how organized all that stuff is either.
They can't be. No, they can't be organized at all. Are you kidding me? No.
I mean, right. That's what I'm saying. It's put into a box. It's not filed by last name.
Right, right. Yeah.
Well, very good, Matt. I like it. And I don't dislike the category, but I want to talk a little bit about this category. And I want to say, Bryant, can we see your shirt? Mountain Dew.
Oh,
Can
no.
we see your shirt, Matt? Aliens, right? Mine's
Yes.
a local golf course. I have 4 drawers full of t-shirts to the point where we have one of these pop-up dressers as well that we keep my t-shirts in. And I don't wear a lot of them. And I probably have, I think I counted the last I checked, 56 wrestling t-shirts.
That's absurd.
Some of them
I
are
have way
from
more.
our time at ad-free shows. Some of them, because we used to get a quarterly tee. And I think I did it for 3 years. So there's 12, you know? And then I had some from the Kick Out crew, but a lot of just like a Cody Rhodes shirt, uh, Jacob Fatu shirt. So I go through them and I put probably about 80% of them in a bag. And I said, I think I'm starting to outgrow the whole graphic tee. I I don't want to wear them anymore. I don't have a places to wear them. I mean, I have a Effie's Big Gay Brunch shirt for goodness sakes. When am I wearing that? Like what
Around the
social
house.
situation
Why'd
am
you
I
buy
wearing?
it?
Like I don't know because I said because it's a rare event and I was there. So it was more about that. But like there's just a lot of things I'm just never going to wear. So yeah, and I think I'm going to keep some of the sports shirts, but maybe not all of them. I'm outgrowing graphic tees. I just want to
I
wear a
mean,
regular shirt.
that's fine, but I'm calling bullshit on that you have nowhere to wear them because you go to 3 to 4 parties a week.
I'm not
Are you,
wearing that.
are you dressing up to go to
But
these
you
parties?
can.
I'm not wearing graphic tees,
But you can.
but I don't want to.
Okay.
Are you telling me you wear like polos and dress
I
up to go to
do
these
wear
parties?
polos. I have probably about 20 polos. That's another thing. I got shirts, man. I got
Save that
shirts for
for
days.
save that for next time. Next time
That's your
overpriced.
next one that you've
But yeah,
outgrown.
it's taking up too much room. And I put them all in a garbage bag. And my wife's like, Sue said, I'm just going to put them in the garage for now, which is another disaster. But in case you ever need it, like in case I need it, in case I need a Darth Vader shirt with as many different faces of Darth Vader, which are all the same. Yes, I have that shirt.
I have that exact same shirt.
I don't need it. I have I I mean, it's ridiculous. They're ridiculous, some of them. I don't even know why I own them. Hard boiled.
Hard boiled.
What do
There
you
it
got,
is. Yes.
Brian?
I'm a giant child. I don't
We know.
outgrow a lot. Yeah, thank you. I don't outgrow a lot. I keep a lot of things. As mentioned on last week's show, we did a house cleaning. I tried to clean out what I could, but I keep a lot. So, like, for me, outgrowing something is odd because, like, if I outgrow it, I either just find a way to bring it back to me or I don't outgrow it. I just forget it. It's outgrown because I just forget it's there. So, as mentioned last week, we were doing some cleaning, and I'm much like Brad. I'm going through all of my shirts. And I realized that I have way too many shirts. I have an
Is this really
entire
happening?
no, I have an entire closet. They're all wrestling shirts. I don't own any like I own like work shirts and a few off brands. They're all wrestling. I don't own any other like anything else for t-shirts. I'm not graphic by any stretch. But like it's weird to me and what I've outgrown is I haven't bought any shirts in probably at this point, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years now. But I'm outgrowing the need to expand my wrestling shirts. So it's me outgrowing that need to expand one aspect of wrestling, I guess. But my closet is also needing it the most. So again, as Brad was trying to steal my category as well, but wrestling shirts are what I'm outgrowing because at this point too, I realized I have nothing to wear out other than wrestling shirts. I'm
Did
the
this just
opposite of
happen?
Brad.
Did this just happen?
Yeah, because I'm the opposite of Brad. I only have wrestling shirts to wear.
Where's your
I
backup
I
topic?
have none. I have none. That's why I'm just doing this because I'm like, fuck it, we're just gonna follow this. But I'm different in that sense. I only have wrestling. Like I have work, and that's it. I either wear a Pepsi shirt or a wrestling shirt. That's all I wear. That's all I have. I have one polo, by the way, to just follow up on the Brad there. I have one polo.
Yeah, I think we need to work on that.
I don't have a lot of formal clothing.
I wouldn't call polos formal.
I
No,
wouldn't
no,
call
I
it
didn't.
formal either.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant like dress shirt and
Hmm.
something
Oh, if we're
else.
going dress shirt, I have one of those as well. But I have let's see. I believe last I counted I had almost 200 wrestling shirts. There's no joke in that. That's all I own.
Problem. That's a huge problem.
Well, it sounds like we all can make a little more room in our house.
Yeah.
We should, yeah.
So, but yeah, time to grow up, right?
I guess so. I mean, I should.
Well, all right, guys, that was fun. So, believe it or not, this episode just flew by. Matt, you want to go ahead and hit us with those socials?
Before I do that, a little follow up from a few minutes ago. Jamie Moyer was mentioned, and I've seen something on the internet that I just confirmed here, and it's just so interesting. Did you know that in the entire long ass history of Major League Baseball, there have been two people with the last name Moyer? That's it. Ed Moyer, a pitcher who played for the Washington Senators in 1913, died on November 18th, 1962. Do you know what else happened on November 18th, 1962? Jamie Moyer was born. The only other Moyer that ever played pro baseball and was also a pitcher.
Love it.
That's
Love it.
wild. That's wild to me. I mean, think about how long baseball's been around and how many people have played it. Anywho, we are three non-Moyers, and we are better than one, cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at 3 Eggs Are Better Than One, the number 3, the letter R, the number 1. Like, subscribe, and comment. Follow us on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at 3 Eggs Are Better, the number 3, the letter R, in our individual accounts. At Yes Man Brad, at B Haremza. I am at Purple Shirt Guy without the I. Apologies to Bob where we ran out of time. I'm doing next week's omelet, and I'm stealing it from Brad. Get upset about it. It's Matt M's observations, and I have been compiling, and I'm excited to share what I think with everyone else.
Awesome. I can't wait. Bryant, take us home.
I also feel like every week is Matt M's observations. But
It
on that
is.
note, we thank you guys for joining us.
This
We've
is
had
the
a lot.
show.
This is the show.
This is the show.
We thank you guys for joining us. We've had a lot of fun telling some stories. Apparently, Brad and I have a shirt problem, but who knows in that. Hope you learn some interesting records too. What records do you guys know about? Leave them in the comments. We'd love to hear about it. So the egg timer's been set. We'll see you guys next week.